Well, thanks so much for joining us on CBS News Colorado. I'm Michael Spencer, joined by CBS News Colorado lead sports anchor Romy Bean. And since we've got a while before Game 3 of the Western Conference semifinals, we wanted to take some time to talk about our Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, you almost don't want there to be this long of a lag.
Yeah, seriously,
just keep the momentum rolling, right? But you know what? Who cares how long they got to wait? They're up 2-0 against the Phoenix Suns, 97-87. A little low-scoring affair there in Game 2 on Monday night. But Coach Michael Malone loved what he saw from his team and the fans after the win.
I have to give our guys a lot of credit, man. Like, we've done a really good job taking away the three and the foul line. So, to beat a team like that again in front of an unbelievable crowd, special performance by a lot of players.
Well, I tell you what, Ball Arena was rocking. You had a chance to watch that game as well as I did, Romy. What stood out to you about Game 2 and that victory over the Suns?
You know what, Michael? I think this was such a fantastic win. This was such an un-Nugget-like performance. I mean, they didn't even hit 100 points. Neither team did. The 40 points in the first half, that ties for their lowest scoring output throughout the regular season. We're used to this team offensively getting whatever shot they want. That's what we saw in Game 1. What I liked was that their offensive game wasn't working, and they stuck to their defense. Yeah. They were clutch all game. They found a way to grind it out. This is a game that arguably previous Nuggets teams wouldn't have won. They wouldn't have found a way to grind it out when Jamal Murray is nowhere to be found, when Michael Porter Jr. is nowhere to be found. And yet the Nuggets dug deep. The defense in the fourth quarter, they gave up 14 points. Phoenix went 0 for 9 from 3 in the fourth quarter. That is incredible clutch defense. This is a Nuggets team that knows what they want and willing to do whatever they have to about it. And then, of course, we bring back Jamal Murray. He had 10 points. I said the Phoenix Suns went 0 for 9 from 3 in the fourth. He went 0 for 9 from 3 all game. That is just, we are not used to see this, especially this playoff Jamal Murray. But you know what? He chose to talk to the media afterwards. He said, I want to address my game. And here's what he had to say after that tough outing.
If I'm being honest, it was really nothing. I was just, if I go look at the film, most of my shots were open. It was just, they just didn't drop tonight. So 0 for 9 from 3, bro.
I didn't even see that.
I did. I just got to make a shot.
I mean, you give him props, right? Someone has a bad game, and they usually run out of the locker room, and he's like, you got to be able to laugh about it and move forward.
Well, it helps that they won, yes. No doubt about that.
Absolutely.
I think if they lost and he's looking at the stat sheet like 0 for 9, he probably has a much different reaction. Romy, playoffs are so many times about X factors, right? Mm-hmm. Shaquille O'Neal calls them the others. So which guy not named Nikola or Jamal has stood out to you in the first 2 games of this series and maybe even dating back to round 1 against the Timberwolves?
The others. That feels like the lessers.
It's kind of a slap in the face. I've never liked that term. I prefer X factors. It makes it sound a lot better.
I'm not sure I love that, but there is one guy, and his name is a very long one. Kentavious Caldwell Pope, Kenny Pope, KCP, whatever you want to call him. Look, during the regular season, Michael Malone called him the missing piece. They brought him in for this reason. He's the only player on the roster that has won a championship, that knows what it takes to win 16 games and to get that Larry O'Brien trophy. And we had general manager Calvin Booth on Xfinity Monday Live earlier in the season. He said KCP was a guy they wanted before this season. This is somebody that they have had their eye on for this reason. And you go back to this game, he had 3 made threes in the fourth quarter. That was absolutely the turning point. Nuggets end up winning by 10 points, by the way, but KCP has been absolutely huge. Everything he's saying to the guys in the locker room won, but the clutch moments like this, he has become so reliable. This is a piece they haven't had before, and one of those big pieces that you say, okay, this is why this team looks like a full championship team right now.
You go back to the moment when Tim Connolly left and went to Minnesota, and I was one of those people who was like, this is really going to hurt the Nuggets. I think Calvin Booth has done a masterful job getting this lineup together, bringing in a veteran guy like KCP. I think Bruce Brown, the addition that he has had, Christian Brown, the draft pick out of Kansas, and what he has done in his rookie year has been really good. And then, Romy, what are your thoughts on Aaron Gordon and the job that he has done? You mentioned some of the defensive stats earlier. We know nobody loves defense more than Michael Malone. I think the head coach has to be really pleased with what Aaron Gordon has done, especially against the Phoenix Suns team that has some serious firepower.
Yeah, if you go back to the tape from last night, there are are plays over and over again of Aaron Gordon on Kevin Durant, having just fantastic defense, so dedicated. After the game, he said, "I love defense." I think he might like it just as much as Michael Malone. I don't know if anyone likes it as much as Michael Malone, but Aaron Gordon has fully bought into his role on this team. And if you look at when he got here, that's been a challenge because Michael Porter Jr. got injured, Jamal Murray got injured the past couple of years. All of a sudden, he was expected to make all these shots, to be a big shooter. Wasn't entirely kind of who he is. And Michael Malone has said time and again, the best Aaron Gordon is aggressive Aaron Gordon, the guy who's getting to the foul line, the guy that's driving to the bucket, right? And that's what he's doing. He's totally embraced his role, but a guy that is aggressive defensively, and he really leads the charge defensively, and the team feeds off of it. He's totally selfless. He's totally bought into his role. Another guy that is now, it's like the chessboard that's all come together, and he's just playing a huge role.
So the Nuggets dominated game 1. They didn't play great, but they still won game 2. Are we looking at a sweep here?
You know what's funny? When this series first happened, I was like, okay, Nuggets in 6, Nuggets in 7. I feel confident saying Nuggets in 5 at this point. I feel like if Minnesota Timberwolves stole a game there or got one game in the series, I find it hard to see how the Suns don't get a game in this series. But Chris Paul being out, and we don't know how long he's going to be out for with a groin injury. Those can take a long time. That's significant for this team. They definitely struggle. They were struggling all night, struggled even more so when he was gone. If Chris Paul's out, that's a dagger for that team. And so, yeah, I think I like Nuggets in 5. What do you like?
I like Nuggets in 5, too. And what's crazy is that the Nuggets were the underdog, at least in terms of the betting odds and how they were stacking up entering this series. And I think that they are certainly proving their doubters wrong. So what's next, Romy?
For the Nuggets?
Yeah, for this series. What does it look like?
Oh, yeah. Well, this is going to be interesting. Of course, now it transitions to Phoenix. You got Game 3 Friday night, 8 o'clock. Game 4 Sunday night at 6. Both of those, I do think Phoenix gets one of these games at home. You know, get a little bit of home court advantage, but I think the Nuggets come back. It's more fun to win on home court.
That's true.
Anyway, so we're going to see how the Nuggets react in enemy territory. They haven't had any trouble so far, but what does the break look like? Are they rested?
Yeah.
Are they a little tired? Do they have their legs? Going to be interesting to see what that first quarter looks like of Game 3, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
And we know you will have it all covered for us. Thank you so much for joining us for our Nuggets recap. We will have all the latest on our local teams on our website, cbscolorado.com.